I want to give a big, sincere thank you to Absurd Evolution and Fishy Bone Gaming. Thank you guys for stopping to the channel. But it looks like we do have the teams all jumbled up down here, so scores are going to be irrelevant. It is tied up 1-1. I'll just leave it like that. But spawning on the leftmost side of the map, we've got Team GoodGod featuring Gumiho from Invasion Esports and his teammate, of course, Choya.
On the right side, for Team Axiom Pro Streamers, the blue Terran Heart, and the purple Protoss Crank.
Alright, so last time we saw this map, I think we only got it once in the first 2 vs 2 tournament, and it was the death of Supernova and Symbol. And unlike Frost, it's not quite the same due to the windy paths of the rocks. What we did learn was you can build 1 racks, 2 racks, and actually wall off the entire map with it. Now, Hart and Crank not pulling out these cheeky strategies, but definitely something kind of cool to have seen.
Yeah, I guess maybe if one of their opponents was a Zerg, they would have done it, but otherwise not so much. Oh well. This map is interesting, not only because of the windy little path, but there are so many destructible rocks. Some Browder must love this map.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, that's one of the aspects I like. You can open up your own paths. You know, you might think, oh, okay, I got an overlord over the middle. I know exactly what's going on, but not really.
Yeah, not necessarily. They're pretty hefty rocks, I believe, so not the easiest to go through, and I don't think we'll ever see these minerals taken.
This would be pretty cool for a 1v1, actually, just looking at it.
It's just, how would you even get these minerals, you know? Like, it's so weird. Okay.
You know, here's what I'm actually curious about. If you share control with teammates, you can use their simulators, their refineries to mine from, right?
Yeah.
What happens if you take, like, Crank takes this base and Hart takes this base, and they share control? Can they both mine from the metal gas?
That's a good question. I think it would still, like, you know...
I think it'd be the limit
still,
of
like,
3.
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't limit it. It would just be, like, optimal mining, because they would stop and stutter and whatnot.
We need to test this sometime, I think. Just for the sake of science. Not that we would ever really have this analysis to use in the future, but... Yo, it'd be cool to know.
Yeah, that'd be cool to know. Well, Heart's gonna open up with a, well, up to a factory at the very least, and maybe up to a starport.
Yeah, but Gumiho's going for a couple of Reapers, and Choya has got a Stargate coming down on the other side of the map, so looking to gang up on Hart. It's going to be a little bit sucky to start with, but luckily there's no real terrain to abuse, despite the way that the bases are laid out. You can't get back here with the Reapers. There's only this front entrance.
Yeah, and with the factory down, you could get 2 of the most important units you can get versus, well, Reapers and Oracles, so Widowmines and Hellions, but obviously not at the same time, so he'll still probably need help from Crank. And what is Crank doing? Krank's actually not putting a
Stargate down for the first time in ever.
It looks like he's going for, honestly, an expand, but that's so bold. 22?
On this map, no less. But Bunker has been revealed, of course, due to the probe scouting, so I'm not sure how much they'll dedicate forward to it. Phoenix is a very interesting choice to see. He'll be able to pick off the Mothership core, which will be nice.
Oh, that's a good point. Looks
Actually,
like they saw the bunker, they're just going to team up on Crank.
Yeah, shifting the focus could be a little bit dangerous. Now, we do have a Stargate starting up now, but if the Mothership core goes down to a Phoenix attack, the Photon Overcharge isn't going to be there for the Reapers. And the Stalkers can help a little bit, but realistically speaking, the Phoenix should win this out in the end.
I mean, enough dedicated Phoenixes. Like, 2 Phoenixes seems like they would kill the Mothership before the Photon Overcharge. It's about to be what he has, so...
Yeah, Craig's got to pick, like, does he defend against the Reaper? The Reapers actually withdraw. I actually think this is a mistake. Putting the pressure on for that Mothership core could have been great, but what is Gumiho going to do? Because these Reapers become really useless as time goes on.
That's 6 Reapers could take on 1, maybe even 2 Stalkers, though, like...
Exactly.
Really
you could snowball them quickly, but
I'm not sure why they didn't continue that attack.
Yeah, he chose to transition out of this and actually take an expansion himself. So with the pressure being applied, that is kind of the advantage they're given. But now Hart's going for a counterattack with a drop. He's got to be very careful this doesn't get picked up by the Phoenix, though.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult. There's enough Phoenix to cover everything, and he doesn't have to worry yet about having the Stargate taken down. Just uses them to, I guess, catch a couple of Phoenixes. That's fine.
I actually like that move a lot. They'll take him down pretty decently. Sadly, Widowmines will take a couple of shots as Phoenix have a little bit of health on their side. But the Reaper is looking for a way back into Crank's base. Crank could still pop off that overcharge. But what is his game plan for this? Just mass blink Stalkers again?
I don't know, because he also got the Stargate.
I think
maybe
if he didn't see Phoenixes out of his opponent, he may have actually built something out of this.
But he built it after he saw the Phoenixes.
Well, he built it after he saw one Phoenix, not after he saw a lot of Phoenixes, right?
I guess that's true. It's a hard call to make. I mean, we did see the 2v2s where Phoenixes were very important. I mean, Crank used them himself, so it's so surprising he would assume that. Did get an Oracle, and it somehow got out of the Phoenix's way and started killing a couple of SCVs in Gumiho's base.
I definitely feel for Crank and Heart. If not Mass Phoenix, Blink Stalkers can go a long way. Especially with good control. Crank has demonstrated good control in the past, too.
Yeah. I like the follow-up into Blink Stalkers. I mean, the Oracle seems like such a... Like, well, I really hope this works, and I guess technically it did. I don't think it killed that many SCVs, but into the Blink is better.
I just want to explain really quick, because we got some confusion in chat. Crank and Heart are still on the same team, but as much as everyone would love to blame Rifkin for the UI breaking, this is something I actually talked to the guy who made the UI for, and it's just something that happens. Sometimes you can get lucky and prevent it, and sometimes it just breaks like this. So, apologies, guys, but there's actually nothing we can do about it.
They're going to team up on Crank again, but Crank has a lot of units.
Yeah, I mean, he's one basing it, so instead of money going to probes into an expansion, he's just getting a hell of a lot of stalkers behind this. Now, it looks like Choya's trying to transition out into something as well with the possible Blink follow-up, but again, for Heart and Crank, last game started off somewhat similar. They were a little bit later to the expansions, kind of like Gumiho getting ahead here, but Heart's tanks, Crank's Blink Stalkers, I mean, they won out quite nicely in the end. It might just happen again, but Oracle does get across the map, forces out an overcharge. Crank will lose that Oracle. Is this SCV really not unscouted?
No.
Heart sees it.
Crank's Oracle saw that a long time ago.
There we go. I was going to pounce on it. Not that this exactly builds anything dangerous, but you don't want the scouting information, right?
Not yet. Legacy of the Void. It's going to be able to build like a Perdition turret or whatever they're called. You know, the flamethrowers?
Oh, yeah. I'm always the first one to bring up the Perdition turrets. I don't know why I spaced on that.
Yeah, I was thinking I called them something incorrect. But yeah, they just put it like it gets unscouted in the back of Protoss's mineral line.
I'm dead serious. If they remove the Herc but bring the Perdition turret back in a deployable manner, that would be so sick.
Yeah. Or they just straight up go like copy from CNC because they totally never copy from any other like popular like sci-fi game ever. Anyways, like the Tesla coil. That was my favorite thing to build in CDC.
Well, the Photon Overcharge is going to do what it can. We got some Marines being unloaded over here. This mineral line got a lot of damage done to it. For someone on one base, that does suck, but they're cleaned up. They're going to push, and Crank has a lot of stalkers.
Such a stupid windy path.
This is actually a lot of Marines out of Gumiho. You know, kind of neglected Gumiho because all the action's going down here in the bottom right, but he's built up a huge Marine force. Now, there's no medevac support for this. It's just Marines, right? But Crank, as we see, is not too scared of Marine fire, especially with his teammate so close. Now, Heart could probably siege up the tanks right here.
Oh!
And Crank could blink over.
So dangerous. Can he?
Yeah.
Oh, the blink. Half of the blink messes up, though.
Yeah, but you can't push in for those last couple of... He will knock down the rocks to open a path. Again, one of the unique traits of the map. I'm definitely feeling it for Heart, though. Look at that supply lead. And again, this comes down to tanks. You know, Gumiho is Mr. Mech. How is it 2 games in a row now he finds himself without tanks against another player?
Yeah. I'm just saying, Gumiho, the one game that you won, you went mech.
I'm just saying. Now, trying to leapfrog forward, this is already getting a little bit out of hand. Chasing into the Marines is whatever, but if you can get those medevacs, it really solidifies their position on the front lines. And Heart with the Marines as well, they're trading out pretty decently, but ultimately it's the Stalkers from Crank that are just winning this out. Back at home, a drop goes off. He's actually not got a Photon Overcharge ready, so Gumiho might get some pretty good counterattack damage done, but it's got to be game ending because right now Crank and Heart are putting on some very intense pressure.
Yeah, the Marauders really added a lot of damage, but still none of the Stalkers really died from that. And it looks like, again...
Heart's gonna counter drop to save Crank! This is so cool. Yeah, with the Photon Overcharge 10 seconds away, that tank should be able to buy enough time. The Nexus does not go down. But GG! GG! Team Axiom! Alright. The returning champions, Team Axiom.